Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
We always try to go beyond the surface level here, and today is no different. We're diving deep into the psychology of real estate and specifically how to win more listings.
I like it.
You sent us some really great sources for this one, and I got to say there's some seriously insightful stuff in there.
Yeah.
It's not just about, closing deals. It's about really understanding what makes sellers tick.
That's right.
So to help us unpack all of this, we have a real estate psychology expert with us today, ready to dive in.
Absolutely.
All right, so one of the first things that jumped out at me from these sources was the emphasis on the emotional side of selling. It's not always just about the money,
Yeah,
right?
you hit the nail on the head there.
Right.
A lot of times agents really just focus on the numbers.
Right.
They're thinking about the commission, the sale price.
Yeah.
But there's this whole other layer that we need to understand,
Yeah.
emotional layer.
I mean, when you think about it, a home is so much more than just bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
Right? It's where families grow,
Right.
memories are made,
Right.
lives unfold.
Yeah, and selling that home, it's often tied to some pretty big life changes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And those transitions, they come with a whole roller coaster of emotion.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like saying goodbye to a whole chapter of your life.
Exactly. And sometimes those emotions, they can be really complex.
Oh, yeah.
You could have a seller who's excited about a new job opportunity, but at the same time, they're heartbroken about leaving their community.
Right.
Or maybe they're relieved to be downsizing, but also kind of anxious about adjusting to a smaller space.
It's a lot to process.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And that's why it's so important for agents to be sensitive to that.
Yeah. So how can agents tap into this emotional layer? Because it seems like it goes way beyond just asking, what's your ideal price?
You're absolutely right. It's about asking the right questions.
Okay.
Questions that uncover the seller's why,
Okay.
their motivations, their anxieties. What are they hoping for? Instead of just focusing on the numbers, try asking things like, what are your hopes for your next home?
Okay.
What are your biggest concerns about the selling process?
Yeah.
When you ask those kinds of questions, you start to connect with the seller on a much deeper level.
And then you can build that rapport.
Exactly.
It's about understanding their anxieties and hopes, not just their bottom line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that selling a home is a deeply personal experience.
For sure.
And for some sellers, there might be a fear of not finding a new home in time.
Yeah.
Others might be worried about leaving a beloved neighborhood or downsizing to a smaller space.
Right.
As an agent, your ability to acknowledge and address those anxieties can really set you apart.
Okay. I'm starting to see how understanding these underlying emotions can make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we as agents, how do we build trust with sellers who might be feeling all these mixed emotions?
Well, building trust is absolutely crucial. And, one of the sources we have here, it emphasizes the importance of active listening and mirroring the seller's language. It's not just about nodding your head and saying, I understand. It's about demonstrating that you're truly paying attention, that you're internalizing their concerns.
Yeah. Okay. So instead of just like rattling off market stats or, sales pitches, we should be really tuning into what the seller is saying, both verbally and non-verbally.
Exactly.
Okay.
For instance, if a seller expresses concern about the market slowing down, you might say something like, I hear your concern about the market. It's smart to be aware of the trends. How would you feel about discussing some strategies for making your home stand out even in a shifting market?
Okay.
You know.
So you're using their words.
Yeah, you're reflecting their emotions. You're showing them that you're on the same page.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about validating their feelings and showing them that you're not just there to make a sale. You're there to guide them through this process with empathy.
Exactly.
Which actually reminds me of something else I read in one of the sources about the power of using stories.
Oh, absolutely. Stories are incredibly powerful. They help us connect. They help us build rapport.
When you share those anecdotes, especially ones that highlight how you've helped other sellers overcome similar challenges, I feel like you're building that emotional bridge.
Exactly.
Like saying, hey,
Yeah.
I've been there,
Yeah.
I get it, and I can help you navigate this too.
Exactly. And it shows them that you're not just a salesperson.
Right.
You're a trusted advisor
Who understands their needs.
and has the experience to guide them through this journey.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about understanding the seller's emotions. We've talked about building trust. But what about those inevitable objections?
Oh, yeah.
I bet that our listeners nodding their head right now thinking about all the times they've heard, I'm not ready to fill yet, or I think I can do this myself.
Right.
What do we do?
Well, objections are a natural part of the process.
Yeah.
And, they often stem from deeper concerns.
Okay.
And it's our job to unpack those concerns and address them head on.
Okay, so let's say a seller says, I think I can sell my home myself and save on commission.
Right.
How do we approach that?
Okay, well, instead of getting defensive,
Yeah.
acknowledge their desire to save money
Okay.
and then delve into the complexities they might not be considering.
Right.
You might say something like, I understand wanting to maximize your profit. Many people consider selling on their own initially. But have you thought about the legal intricacies involved in real estate transactions or the time commitment required to manage showings marketing negotiations, not to mention the potential risks of making costly mistakes?
Okay, so you're highlighting the value that you bring to the table.
Exactly.
You're not just dismissing their
It's not
concern.
just selling a house.
So,
You're selling your expertise, your network, your ability to navigate the intricacies of this market.
this is fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
We're learning so much about the psychology of winning listings,
Yeah.
but there's so much more ground to cover. Before we dive into that crucial moment of the listing presentation, let's take a quick pause. We'll be right back with more insights from our expert. Welcome back, everyone. We're knee-deep in the psychology of winning listings, and before the break, we were talking about objections,
Yeah.
which I know are a big part of the job.
Oh, for sure.
So how can we turn those objections into opportunities? I mean, is that even possible?
It definitely is. And that's one of the most valuable things I got from these sources you sent.
Okay.
It's not about just handling objections.
Right.
It's about using them to show off your expertise to provide more value.
I like that. Okay, so let's say a seller is hesitant about the costs involved, like specifically your commission. How do we shift their perspective?
Well, instead of just trying to justify your fee,
Yeah.
focus on the return on investment.
Okay.
You could say something like, I understand that commission is a big factor, but my marketing strategies and negotiation skills, they consistently get my clients a higher sale price. On average, my clients see a 10% higher return than those who sell independently.
So we're not just charging a fee. We're providing a service that gets results.
A valuable service.
Okay, so that brings us to, I think, a pretty crucial moment. The listing presentation.
Right.
This is where we really get to showcase our expertise.
It's share time.
Exactly. Now, the sources you provided, they seem to suggest that we need to go beyond the typical, market data and property features.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The listing presentation is where everything we've talked about comes together.
Okay.
It's your chance to really shine, to show the seller that you understand their needs on a deeper level and that you have a tailored strategy to help them reach their goals.
So no more generic presentations.
It's definitely not generic, won't cut it anymore.
Okay. So let's say we're working with a seller who's downsizing, and they're really worried about the emotional aspect of leaving their family home.
Yeah.
How do we address that in the presentation?
Acknowledge those emotions directly. You could say something like, I understand that this is a big change, and it's totally natural to feel a mix of emotions. Part of my job is to make this transition as smooth and stress-free as possible. I'll be here to support you every step of the way.
That's powerful.
It is. And you can even think about how to visually represent that understanding.
Okay.
Maybe you create a custom marketing plan that really highlights the home's unique features and how you'll target buyers who appreciate those qualities.
So we're showing them that we've listened and we've crafted a strategy that's tailored to their situation.
Exactly.
Now, what about social proof?
Social proof is huge.
The sources definitely emphasize that.
Yeah, it's all about going beyond those generic testimonials.
Okay.
So let's say you're working with a seller who's really concerned about selling their home quickly. Instead of just showing general testimonials, you can pull up data points that specifically show your track record of selling homes faster than the average in their area.
Okay, so we're using data strategically to back up our claims and address their specific concerns.
Absolutely. And don't forget the power of stories. Weave in those anecdotes about how you've helped other sellers overcome similar anxieties.
Because stories resonate.
They do. They help build trust.
This is fantastic. We've covered so much ground already. From understanding the seller's emotions to reframing objections to crafting a compelling listing presentation. But are there any other psychological nuances that we should be aware of?
We've talked a lot about understanding the seller's perspective, but one of the most overlooked aspects of winning listings is understanding your own psychology.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about them, it's about us.
Exactly. Our mindset shapes everything, our actions, our interactions, our success. And one of the sources really emphasized the importance of developing a resilient mindset.
Okay.
especially when you're facing rejection.
Which happens.
It does.
Yep.
Real estate can be a roller coaster.
It can.
And it's easy to get discouraged when deals fall through or, offers aren't accepted.
Right. So how do we deal with that?
Well, it's crucial to develop strategies for reframing that rejection,
Okay.
seeing it as a learning opportunity.
So not taking it personally.
Not taking it personally. Try to analyze what could have been done differently. Was there a miscommunication? Could you have adjusted your approach?
So we're embracing a growth mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, rejection isn't always about you.
Right.
Sometimes it's just timing, market conditions, things beyond your control.
Right.
The key is to bounce back quickly and focus on the next opportunity.
I like that.
Yeah.
But, maintaining that positive mindset day in and day out, it's tough.
It is. It is. So you got to prioritize self-care.
Yeah.
This business is demanding. Make sure you're sleeping enough, eating well, exercising.
It's hard to pour from an empty cup.
That's exactly right. When you take care of yourself, you have more energy, more resilience to handle those challenges.
Right.
And don't forget to build a support system.
Okay.
Connect with other agents who inspire you. Find a mentor. Attend industry events.
It's so easy to get caught up in the competitive side of things.
It is.
And forget that we can actually support each other.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about mindset, but there's one more piece of the puzzle that I think we need to discuss, and that's pricing.
Ah, yes.
It can be such a sensitive topic,
It can.
and it can really make or break a deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pricing conversations require a delicate balance.
Yeah.
Data-driven insights, emotional intelligence, skillful communication.
It's not just about throwing numbers out there.
No, it's not.
We have to understand the seller's perspective and guide them towards a realistic strategy.
Right. And, one of the sources you sent it talked about this fascinating psychological phenomenon called anchoring bias.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Basically, the first number we hear tends to stick in our minds and influence our perception of value.
Oh, yeah. So if a seller throws out this really high asking price based on emotion rather than data,
Right.
it can be tough to shift their perspective.
It definitely can. That's why you have to come prepared with that solid market data. Recent comparable sales present it clearly and compellingly and show them how pricing strategically from the start can lead to a faster sale and potentially even a higher final price.
We're using data to educate,
Yes.
to empower them to make informed decisions.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of framing.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on potential losses if they overprice,
Yep.
emphasize the potential gains of pricing it right.
Okay.
Attracting multiple offers,
So shifting the focus from fear of loss to the excitement of potential gain.
Exactly. Guiding them towards a win-win situation.
This has been incredible. We've covered so much ground already. But there's still one more crucial piece of the puzzle that we haven't really talked about.
And what's that?
Building those lasting relationships.
Yes.
The ones that lead to repeat business and glowing referrals.
Those are the best.
They are. But before we unlock the secrets to building those relationships, let's take a quick pause to recharge. We'll be back with the final part of our deep dive, where we'll tie everything together. All right, everyone, welcome back to our deep dive into real estate psychology. I'm feeling pretty inspired by all the insights we've uncovered.
Yeah, me too. It's amazing how much psychology plays into this business.
It is. And, before the break, we were talking about building those lasting relationships that turn clients into raving fans.
Yeah, the kind of relationships that lead to repeat business and those amazing referrals.
Exactly. Because in this business, referrals are like gold.
They are. They're the lifeblood of a successful real estate career.
But it takes more than just closing a deal to earn those glowing recommendations, right?
Absolutely. Think about the experiences you remember and rave about. It's not always about the big things.
Right.
It's those small details, the unexpected gestures, the genuine care that really make a difference.
So it's about going beyond the transactional and creating a truly memorable experience.
Exactly. An experience that makes the client feel valued and appreciated.
So how can we apply that philosophy to real estate? What are some tangible ways we can wow our clients and turn them into those raving fans?
Well, one of the sources you sent it talked about the importance of personalized communication
Okay.
throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
It's about tailoring your communication style to each individual client.
So not just sending out the same generic emails or updates to everyone.
Exactly. For some clients, it might be frequent text updates. Others might prefer a weekly phone call. It's about taking the time to figure out their preferences and adapting your approach.
So we're showing them that we're paying attention, that we're not just going through the motions.
Exactly. You're genuinely invested in their success and their well-being.
And what about those little extra touches?
Those can make a huge difference. Maybe you send a handwritten thank you note after each meeting,
Okay,
or a small gift basket after closing to celebrate their new chapter.
I like that.
It's those little gestures that show you care.
They really do go a long way. And what about just being present and responsive throughout the process?
That's essential. Respond to calls and emails promptly. Be proactive in addressing their concerns. Make them feel like they're your top priority.
So we're not just their agent, we're their advocate, their guide, their partner throughout this whole journey.
Exactly. You're building a relationship built on trust, respect, and genuine care.
And when you have that kind of connection, those referrals will naturally follow.
They will. But, real estate isn't always smooth sailing.
No, it's not.
There will be challenging situations, difficult clients, unexpected obstacles.
How do we stay positive and resilient when those curveballs inevitably come our way?
Well, resilience is key. And one of the sources you shared, it emphasized the importance of having a strong support system.
Right.
Connect with other agents who inspire you. Find a mentor who can offer guidance. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
It's so easy to forget that we don't have to do this alone.
That's right. Surrounding yourself with a positive and supportive community can make all the difference when it comes to riding out those ups and downs.
Every challenge is an opportunity for growth.
It is. Each experience shapes us and helps us refine our approach.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. We've learned so much about understanding the seller's emotions, handling objections, pricing strategies, building relationships. It's been fantastic.
It really has. And the key takeaway for me is that real estate, it's about more than just transactions.
Yeah.
It's about human connection. When we approach our work with empathy, authenticity, and a genuine desire to help our clients succeed, well, success naturally follows.
So well said. Listener, I hope you're walking away from this deep dive feeling inspired and equipped with a whole arsenal of strategies to win more listings and build a thriving business.
Go out there, create those win-win situations where everyone feels happy, supported, and empowered.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into the psychology of winning listings. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic, so stay tuned.